Jim, you guys just added Nigel Glover. What was it about him that made you want to bring him into the team?
Yeah, we've known about Nigel for a long time, and really it's his attitude, the way that he wants to improve, that he's so into, the X's and O's. He's that kind of kid. He's the kind of kid that's coachable and wants to learn.
What's realistic for him this year?
That's hard to say, right? I mean, first thing is we have to get him to know where his classes are and all. He's still a freshman, so we'll wait and see.
Court was listed as a linebacker on the Tribune, was also working with you guys. When did that decision happen, and how is he taking that position?
Yeah, I mean, Court is he's a guy we always felt would be better off closer to the line of scrimmage. So, we've debated that move for a while. Kind of in the house, he's kind of moved back and forth. We just thought it was the right time to move him down fully, and he'll still play some Sam linebacker in our 4-3, but he's just Court is a first-class young man. It's great to have him at linebacker.
Jim, last time we got to talk to you, I was just wondering, since then, have your plans crystallized a little bit more about C.J. Hicks, for example, and where he can fit in?
I mean, I think my plans have been pretty strong about CJ the whole time. He has had a great offseason, continues to improve. He's going to play at will. He's going to play at jack, and we're just going to find, just always look for ways to get him in the game. That's on me to find those opportunities.
We saw Sonny and Jihad taking a lot of first-team reps today. What have they done to put themselves in that position?
Jihad, being a transfer, has just been a very coachable player. He's one of those guys you can say something to, correct it, and then he corrects it immediately on the field. That's rare. So his learning and processing of our system has been great. And then Sonny is that guy that we are continually trying to find ways to get him on the field, to let him be a factor in the game. So plan on him being out there a lot.
Jim, Jihad was deep safety a few times. Are you looking at him more there, or is it slot, or you mentioned versatility before?
Jihad is more of a high safety. Yeah, I mean, we experimented with him on the slot. And that's part of learning the system. It's good for safeties to play different positions early, but he's more of a high safety.
What does he do well as a high safety? You see him
He
there?
processes, yeah. He understands the game. He sees the whole field, and he processes things quickly.
Jim, these being able to go on those two fields, Coach Day talked about it yesterday, that you could get twice as many reps. Is that allowing more experimentation with the personnel for you, or how do you approach deciding who should be on which field?
I think you just try to mix it up. You're just trying to, really at this stage, you're just trying to place guys so that you can maximize the reps. And you're not really experimenting as much as you're seeing how players react when things start moving quickly. You go through a lot of walkthroughs and a lot of teaching in the summertime. Now you're trying to see how they react when things move quickly. The only way to get better is to play, so the more reps, the better. So that's why it's good to split it up.
Jim, this year, too, of your system, the learning curve, how much better is it this year as you teach the kids, and do you see it clicking more now?
Yep. I mean, I do see it clicking. I see, players in the right spot, players understanding, and more of the why, why I call a certain thing. I expect our older guys to be able to answer that, not just what or where or how, but why. What's the purpose behind this call, and they're able to see that now.
What's more valuable, those three safeties on the field together? How much do you want flexibility and maybe all three of them able to play all three spots, or do you really want them to focus on this guy's the bandit, this guy's the nickel?
Yeah, I love flexibility, but at the same time, you don't want to cheat the player. So there is a real balance to that. I love that, to have that flexibility, but the more reps a guy gets at a certain position performing those fundamentals, the better he's going to be. So right now, I'm leaning more towards, get him set, get him in place, let him, get better at the fundamentals of that position.
Jim, you've been asked this a million times, but what did you learn about the Michigan game rivalry?
I just learned we have to do better on defense. I mean, that's the bottom line, No other way to explain it except we got to be better.
Jim, can Sonny play nickel like in your base defense? I know you used him as the big nickel last year, but he was covering Marv on one play out there. You look at him as a guy who can do that kind of stuff?
Yes.
When did you, because I think we all would have assumed that he would be more of maybe a bandit or even an adjuster than a nickel. When did you kind of land that he could do that?
Yeah, don't assume anything with Sonny. I mean, he's extremely talented and he can do it all.
Jim, how big of a jump can your defensive line take this year with some of the talent you have back there?
You know, the sky is the limit. Got the best coach. You got veteran players. You got some depth. You know, the heat, repetition up front. You need a lot of depth so those guys can play fast. But I don't see any limitations to why they can't be, the best in the country.
Jim, I know it's just one day, but to have Tommy and Steele back there when he didn't really happen in the spring, what was it like seeing those guys back?
That's great to have Tommy back. You know, he's our leader. He's the type of guy that I can yell at and he'll yell back at me. So, I mean, that's the kind of relationship you want. You know, you want guys who are convicted and, if they believe something, you can have an exchange. And that's Tommy because he's passionate, he cares, he never wants to make a mistake. So when you have guys like that, you got a good chance.
I know you haven't seen video yet, but did somebody just jump out at you today? I mean, it just caught your eye. A little bit of a surprise.
Yeah,
Where did it come?
I couldn't tell you right now. You know, there's plenty of hours of dissecting early on, really.
Jim, we're all going to write and talk about this. You look like Jihad, Sonny, and Lathan were a package of safeties together more often than not on the field. In that group, is Jihad the adjuster, Lathan the bandit, and Sonny the nickel?
Yes.
Thank you.
Jim, you talked in the spring with some, if regret's the right word, about Jack Sawyer and Jack last year and how that might have interrupted development stuff. Why don't you have any of the same reservations about CJ Hicks?
Michael,
I think different. They're different players. They're different players, and CJ's got that short space, quickness, and burst. Jack is more powerful, so I just think CJ fits the mold better.
Was Sonny out there more because Cam was out today?
No, Sonny's out there because that's where we want him.
Jim, you have a guy like Sonny who's so versatile. Like you mentioned, you said don't assume anything about where you want to put Sonny. How do you balance trying to teach Sonny so much stuff, but also still letting him use that athleticism at his instinct?
Yeah, I mean, that is my job, is to make sure that he is the best he can be. So that is constantly focusing on that, not putting too much on him. So you watch the film and you put a little bit, you just kind of go back and forth to see where his best learning curve is.
And your first impression of Lorenzo?
I like Lorenzo. He's a great, he's a really good young man, and he breaks on the ball well. He sees things like he sees crack blocks by receivers and replacing. He's got some real natural skills out there.
Folks, we have Cody Simon to your right.
I know that he's a young guy, freshman. It's probably hard his first practice, but he seemed to be perfect. What he's been able to do just in a short time. What are your impressions of him?
Talented ball players, football intelligence. Went from 166 to 194 or something like that. So I think the sky's the limit for him.
When a guy like that, as young as he does, takes that kind of jump in the weight room, kind of force you guys to maybe pay attention to him and see, like, okay.
I don't think it forced it. We all paid attention to Malik from the first time he arrived. I think it just adds to how good we feel about him.
Kenyatta was out there quite a bit in the 7-on-7 package. Are you guys looking at him as someone who could play that jack role?
Not right now, but he's, he does have some talent to be a dropper. So I think we can get that done with him in our 4 down.
As you look out there, this first day as opposed to last year's first day, what do you see? Do you see more pieces available to you? Do you see more quality pieces available to you? Give me your idea.
I just see quality. I think I see quality. I see adjustments. I see fits. I hear more than see communication.
Yeah.
Communication is the biggest thing. particularly with this generation, because they're on their phones all the time, and sometimes they text each other when they're sitting in the same room. So our job is to get them to talk to each other.
What are you looking at now with Mitchell now that he's back out there?
We want to get Mitchell back on his feet as a rush end, and then eventually work into some jack with him. Mitch just needs playing reps and playing speed and playing conditioning. You know, he's been out a while.
Is pitch count a little bit? I mean, a play count a little bit right now. Is that
We have to watch him. Yeah, because he just hasn't played in a while.
Taiwan was out there quite a bit with the first team. What have you seen from him since he's gotten here to kind of earn some reps early?
He's a guy, you know, he's got game experience, he's got toughness, he's got savvy. You know, he's just someone you feel comfortable with, like right away. You know, he can handle things and the physicality too.
And it looked like Ty Lee had to step out of practice early. Is he okay?
Didn't see that.
What are your sort of plan, like big picture wise, but like the plans for the jack? I know that was kind of tabled in spring, and Mitchell coming back allows it to be incorporated down the line. Where do you see this sort of being a part of your system?
Yeah, I see it as a
for this year.
Yeah, change up. Yeah, definitely for this year. Change up, curveball, not the focus, but definitely something I want to look at this camp.
What's the next step for you?
You know, both he and Denzel have had great springs and great summers. So the next step for both of them is to be dominant. I mean, dominant. They both can do it.
If you have dominant corners, how does that change?
It changes everything. It allows you to, you know, play with everybody else with their eyes on the ball. You know, and then allow those guys the other 9 to run around and make all those plays. When you can eliminate people on the outside, it makes things a lot easier.
It kind of goes hand in hand. It's not a secret. You know, it's a little cliche of like defensive line helps corners, corners helps defensive line. It seems like you guys are really high on edge and really high on corner this year. I guess in your defense specifically, how much does that help? Because at Oklahoma State in your last year, you seem to have good edges that help the corners a lot.
We call that one of our winning edges. You know, I say coverage and rush, and they say working together. So you can say that to any of our defensive guys. You say coverage and rush, they say working together. So we know that those two go together, and the better the rush is, the better the coverage is. Better the coverage is, the better the rush becomes. So it's just, they're intertwined.
Jimmy, in the spring, you talked. Go ahead.
You mentioned Taiwan. How does him, Hero, Jaden, how do they fit into trying to add more depth inside?
Yeah, I mean, you want so many guys that can play. You want as many guys that can play to step up. So he adds so much depth, and other guys will be fresher because of it.
You talked in the spring, I think, about the idea of dominate the twos and show us then if you're ready to move up to the ones. Did specifically Sonny, did he do that?
Absolutely. I mean, Sonny has showed us that and earned that right to really step up and play and be part of the one.
Sorry. What is more valuable, you're having a year's worth of knowledge of the players, or the players having a year's worth of knowledge of the scheme?
The players having a year's worth of knowledge of the scheme. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I haven't made a legal tackle since 1986, so they're the guys that are going to make the plays.
Last question.
Is he cross-training between linebacker and defensive line in order to play the jack, or how is that?
He will eventually. He will eventually. Yeah, I mean, not right now, but as we move more into that package, he'll get more time with Coach Johnson.
But you think because of his athletic background, whatever, that won't be any kind of detriment as far as the linebacker?
No, because I've already talked to him, and he's excited to do it because you don't have to read much at that position. You just have to go and attack. So you just kind of tell him what to do, and he does it.
Are you looking at Jordan and Denzel as the starting corners right now?
Yes.
Thank you.